Now, overcrowding in South Africa's prisons went up, wait for it, by 48% in the 2023-24 financial year. That's according to Correctional Services Portfolio Committee chairperson Kgomotso Ramolobeng. Now, these high numbers are a result of the number of foreign nationals in the country, apparently. Ramolobeng joins us now to tell us more about these numbers. Chairperson, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it, Kgomotso. Let's just talk about seemingly expressing shock at the number of foreign nationals who were inmates in the country's prisons. Why is this the case? Why do we have so many foreign nationals in South African prisons, if I may ask? And do you have a number for us?
Good afternoon, Arabile, and good afternoon to the viewers at home. Yes, we do have the numbers. In the briefing on Tuesday, the security cluster briefing, I would have made an indication that based on the 2023-2024 financial year stats of inmate population in the country, we were sitting at 156,000 vis-a-vis a total bed space or capacity of 105,000. I was then given the current stats by the department, which means we're sitting at 167,300 with a bed space capacity of 107,000 that we're sitting with currently in the facility. So that means we are 56% overcrowded with an excess of 59,000 inmates that are not supposed to be, if correctional facilities are to operate without overcrowding, then you have an excess of 59,000 of inmates that you still need to place. Part of the reasons that causes or contributes to the overcrowding, it's inmates that are unable to pay bail. You'll have inmates that are unable to pay bail as much as 100 rands or 500 rands or 1,000 rands. So that contributes to the overcrowding. You have state patients and facilities who are supposed to be placed in mental health institutions, but they are placed in they're incarcerated in correctional facilities. That also contributes to the overcrowding. You have foreign nationals who are incarcerated currently in correctional facilities, which equally adds on to the number, including remand detainees or those who are supposed to or are due for court, but they have a year or 2 years, have not appeared to court. You don't know whether their case is still existent or it's still there, which also contributes to the numbers of overcrowding. That makes us to be sitting at 56% in the whole country currently.
All right, let's talk about those. I mean, of the 167,000 that you made note of, there are 107,000 in terms of bed capacity ultimately. If I'm correct, then the number is that the department incarcerated at least 22,612 foreign national inmates, 690 of whom are serving life sentences. If those numbers are correct, there's still probably a whole lot more that are inclusive of the overall figure here when it comes to foreign national inmates. Why do we have so many in our correctional facilities?
You refer to foreign nationals?
Correct.
I wouldn't know why we have so many. The question would be, why do we have so many foreign nationals in the country? I wouldn't know why. But I can tell you now, if foreign nationals are captured and justice decides that they're being sentenced, like out of the 22,612, you have 690 that are serving life sentences. So if the justice system decides that they should be incarcerated in correctional facilities, what the department does, it receives them. The department acts on an order from the justice, which is the magistrate or your court.
But
when the court says you need to house this particular inmate, whether it's foreign or South African, they are bound by law to house that person.
And I suppose that's why I'm asking is why is it that we need to house so many foreign national inmates? Is it because those crimes that are then, of course, committed here in South Africa aren't those that would require their repatriation to their countries in order to be incarcerated? Or is it a case of we do not have the sort of extradition with the countries that are involved here?
Look, I currently, I've asked a team of researchers that supports the portfolio committee or support my office, inclusive of the legal team of Parliament, to assist us in those avenues, to look at an idea to say, why, if the justice system has decided to incarcerate Arabile, who is a foreign national, for 10 years, why are we not entering into discussions or bilateral with that country of that inmate to say, this person has been incarcerated for 3 years. Let this person serve the entire full sentence in their country of birth. So in that way, we will be able to alleviate or deal with the overcrowding that we're facing with. It will not be entirely dealing with it outrightly, because if you take 22,000 of foreign nationals, you still have around 140,000 overcrowding of South Africans. But that equally can assist. So we have tasked a team of researchers and legal practitioners to assist us so that we can draw in Home Affairs in this instance, draw in justice portfolio committees, including the departments, to assist us if there is possibility to exhaust these avenues. If they are not, what is it that we can do? But if it is possible, then we need to start implementing this and be able to deal with it, because it can't be correct that people run away from their own countries. Like, for instance, I'll make an instance. Limpopo facilities, and mainly because of Thohoyandou, we've been to it when we've done an oversight. They have an influx of female offenders, female inmates, who come in from Zimbabwe, highly pregnant, goes and do a minor illegal thing, shoplifting and so forth, knows she's going to be incarcerated for 3 months or for 6 months, knows at that time she is being incarcerated in a correctional facility, she's going to be able to give birth in that facility. And within that 3 to 6 months, it means the state would be taking care of her and the infant. So you have a lot of pregnant women coming from Zimbabwe doing that aspect and go back. We met last year when we did an oversight. A woman who gave birth in Thohoyandou Correctional Facility, I think for the third time. So meaning if she has 3 kids, all of them, she would have given birth in the facilities. Immediately she's released, she goes back. Immediately she's pregnant, she comes back and reoffends in Mosina to be captured and goes to her facilities. So you have those situations that aids more pressure on our system or correctional facilities. So the justice system equally needs to be engaged on this process. How do we deal with such minor issues, especially if it's someone you're going to give them 3 months? Why aren't we then entering into those bilaterals with their countries? Let them serve those 3 months and 6 month sentences in their countries.
Okay, Kgomotso, I mean, absolutely incredible to be listening to a story of that magnitude as well. But let's deal with some of the other issues then, of South African nationals primarily, but they can't pay bail, for example. What can we do? What's another way for them to perhaps apply correctional discipline in that way? If we're talking about bail of around 100, 200, 500 rand, for example, yes, they may not be able to afford it, but then we have overcrowding. Does that mean we just now need to build more or bigger prisons?
I'm one person who doesn't believe in us having to build more prisons. I feel it's my own narrative that says, why do we need to build more prisons? Are we building them? Aren't we encouraging more crimes or minor issues that needs to be dealt with? Because if we build more prisons, we're saying, go do illegal activities, we have a place to house you, rather than maintaining the current infrastructures that we have. Look, we have JICS, which is the Judicial Inspectorate of Correctional Services, which has looked into that matter to try and see if they can assist the department. And we've brought into that idea as the portfolio committee. We'll be having JICS appearing to the portfolio committee in March to try and table a paper on bail fund to see if they can be able to assist. If that paper, if it's brought to Parliament, adopted, voted for, and it becomes a bill, if it can't assist those who are struggling to pay bail as little as 100 or 500, but equally, we need to be cautious in doing that, because you wouldn't want to give bail to someone who has killed someone outside. So we need to be cautious on being able to give bail to who qualifies for it, and on what transgression does that person qualifies. Those are aspects that we're looking into as the portfolio committee.
It certainly isn't the first time that we've had an issue like this as well, and we certainly hope we can find the solutions to it, get those cooperations, particularly with other countries if need be and when need be as well. And indeed, as you said, maintain the infrastructure we have and encourage not a lawless society in which one would have to increase correctional facilities, but really to do better and create a society that ultimately adheres to the law. Thank you so much for the time. Kgomotso Ramolobeng is the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Correctional Services.